We can't risk losing. This is a foolproof way to make them surrender and scatter for good. The weak die and the strong survive. That's anarchy. Technoblade looks between you and Dream, brows furrowing under the pressure of two sets of invisible eyes. I... I guess, he huffs. Just try to avoid hurting Phil under any circumstances. He's the guy with the funny hat and green cloak. Dream hums something unintelligible, stuffing some more of the TNT into his bottomless bag. I'll try, you respond. Dream springs up, walking over to the exit. You and Techno go sneaking to L'Manberg. Invis, break the bricks, I don't care. I'll go off on my own. You nod. Surely he has a plan, hopefully a good one. After you and Techno arrive and climb up the wall with some rope, you position yourself on the merlons and crouch, peeking over the Blackstone. The army is lined up as expected, and the three of you are highly outnumbered. Tommy is standing in front of a spruce tree, seemingly giving a speech. At second glance, they seem to be already prepared pretty well, swords and varyingly decent armor divided between the soldiers. And at third glance, a man in a green hood is lining up around 100 sticks of dynamite nearby the group in a neat, thick line. As Tommy notices him and cries out, Dream lights a fuse on one of the pieces and throws it into the bunch. Both sides run for cover, and from the moment you're hit by the shockwave, the ground descends into turmoil. Technoblade begins spawning terrible monsters, TNT being thrown left and right, lit and unlit, causing chain explosions randomly across the land. A man in red and blue glasses comes at Technoblade, and you deflect the attack, clashing swords with foes left and right as you leap through the smoke. Even despite the adrenaline pumping in your veins, you manage to fend off the enemy nearly flawlessly, and the few times they land a hit, your armor and whatever mixture is in your veins at this point protects you from taking any substantial damage, and you continue relentlessly. It takes you a bit to pick up on Techno not being there. The battleground is pretty disorienting after all, and he disappears into the crowd and doesn't come back, leading you to worry that you might be a man down. Dream is still there though, so you continue on. The Withers pick up your fights, forcing the opponents to run away, and you don't care to finish them, as hurting the enemy was never the point of your role. Still, you're sure at least one life has been taken in the mess, and the thought concerningly doesn't seem to bother you all that much. Your train of thought is abruptly cut off by a Wither skull whizzing past your head, and you turn around just in time to see the beast light up for a blast. A pigman appears in front of you, shielding you before you can react. He must have seen it before you and thrown a pearl, and you exhale with relief, looking at Techno in question. Where have you been? Phil got hit by an explosion, he nervously explains, looking around for a potential threat. He isn't doing well. You nod, the gravity of the situation hitting you as Technoblade runs off to spawn more Withers. Every time you see him after, he's somber, fighting with less zeal, but more precision. Wilbur, what are you? You hear shouts from every direction and try to determine where they're coming from, and soon enough, a white flag catches the corner of your vision. The fog clears up. Dream appears next to you and you flinch, looking at him incredulously, and he explains. Wilbur was lighting any unlit dynamite he could find laying around instead of fighting, he explains. The L'Manbergians gaze upon the destruction of what used to be their home, and you don't feel pity for them. You feel cold. You've won, just like Dream said. Everything went to plan, and the enemy surrendered. Congratulations, Technoblade utters in a rush and storms away. Dream doesn't even look after him as he steps up, clearing his throat to get the crowd's attention. This was a warning to all of you. No governments will be formed now or any time in the future, or they'll end up like this. The Manberg is nothing but a distant memory. Today, this server reverts to anarchy. The strong will survive and the weak will suffer. Now, disperse. He holds up a stick of TNT in his hand tauntingly and watches the group scatter, some struggling to traverse the craters in the fear of explosive being thrown their way. Now, give me the disc. I don't reckon you'll be needing it. He holds out a hand, and you pass Mellowhigh to him. There isn't a choice anymore, and getting on his bad side now would be foolish. The potions slowly leave your system, and your mind clears up, and you feel a tinge of regret in your chest after all of what happened, but you push it down. Dream places both the discs in his ender chest. As long as he can open his mouth, Tommy is a threat. I can keep him under control with these if he ever tries to revolt in the future, he explains, and you realize just how weary you are after the fight. You sit down on the charred grass and gaze upon the craters of the land below, walls demolished and only a ruin left of the decimated country. But deep inside, you know it isn't over yet. You look out on the land beyond with determination. The Badlands are next.